33rd installment of the Barn Burner Trophy rival
style. We're not used to Purdue. We usually see more sets, it's more post-dominated offense, but these teams like to let it fly from behind the arc.
And so we'll see how it plays out today. First of two meetings this regular season between Purdue and Indiana, the 101st meeting all time. The first ever meeting between these two. Purdue was not yet a varsity women's basketball program. So the Boilermakers are counting this their 100th all-time meeting, as that second chance point by Kendall Puryear is off the mark and Indiana has its first crack at possession. Nevaeh Caffey on the ball, the freshman from Warrenton, Missouri. And Lene Beaumont from just off the free throw line has the game's first bucket.
And it came off of a ball screen, and it looked like Kiki Smith got caught on that ball screen. She's going to have to figure that out quickly.
Tara Day, a big transfer portal addition for Purdue, and head coach Katie Gerald's had it in the lane. And 3 seconds is called on Purdue's Kendall Puryear. Well, we talked to Katie Gerald's this morning, and we learned that she likes to shovel snow. And she's got plenty of opportunities to do that today with the winter storm moving through the state of Indiana. But you, all kidding aside, Shimmy, called some of Purdue's games earlier in this season, and you've seen how this team has improved this year.
The first game of Purdue's that I called was back in November against Miami, Ohio, a non-conference game. And they just didn't look organized offensively. I felt like the wrong people were taking the wrong shots at the wrong time, and then you get a chance to call them again as Madison Layden-Zay lets that fly. I got the chance to call them again later in December. Completely different team, much more organized, much more intentional about who was taking the shots and when.
Here is Layden-Zay, another second chance opportunity for Purdue, but they have yet to score. And perhaps the first point of the day for the Boilermakers will come at the free throw line. Tara Day heading there.
And when I talk about their improvement from non-con to now, I'll look right at this young woman right here, and that's Tara Day. She's a player who is really playing out of position, Chris. She's been a small forward her entire career at her last two stops, and now she's being asked to have more ball handling duties, play more face up as a perimeter player. She's really started to settle in to her new role.
And she has blossomed, I believe is the word that her head coach Katie Gerald said, but stops for Tara Day at a couple of Big East programs, DePaul and most recently St. John's. And she's only a 56% free throw shooter, but she ties the game at the line. So for the Indiana Hoosiers and head coach Terry Morin, 9 straight 20-win seasons, but a bit of a reset this year. 11-9, 0-8 in Big Ten play. They can still score, though, averaging over 70 points per game, and they still love to shoot the three.
Well, that's a staple of Terry Morin and what she's done offensively in Bloomington since her arrival. That's not going to change. The players might change, but how she plays offensively will not.
Here is Lene Beaumont, who redshirted last season for Indiana and has become an every game starter this year for the Hoosiers. There is Shea Chesky, automatic from the top of the key.
And there's your leading scorer in the Big Ten right there. And Terry Morin will be the first to tell you she has really evolved from more of a catch and shoot type player over her career to just a dynamic three-level scorer.
Over 44% from three-point range this season as Purdue's number 44, Tara Day, off the mark. How about another offensive rebound for Purdue, however, and Day misses the reverse. Offensive rebounds already 3-0 in favor of Purdue.
Well, you're already seeing the absence of Zania Sakaguman, who's out with the lower leg injury. She's been so good at protecting the paint and on the glass.
But credit Beaumont for getting inside there, and she has 4.
I love to see Lene Beaumont getting going early. She struggled a little bit. She had a rough 3-game stretch there, but you just see her improvement from her freshman year to now. This is a young player that you're rooting for.
Here's the post entry to Kendall Puryear, guarded by Odessa Noyan. And Noyan with the takeaway, and here's Nevaeh Caffey trying to shake Purdue's defense. Transition 3 on the way for Indiana, off the back iron from Maya Makaleski. That's Madison Layden-Zay, and her jumper not quite falling just yet. Purdue is 0 from the floor, 0 for 8. They're only 2 points at the free throw line. Chesky with a wraparound inside to Makaleski. Purdue hits the deck for it, and the hustle play made by Nia Smith, bringing that one off the hardwood. Here's Smith from the elbow. Pure.
Pace right now. This is one of the immediate intricacies about this Indiana offense that's standing out to me. Terry Morin wants to play at a faster pace. Analytics show that they're better when they play a little bit faster.
Long three-pointer off the mark from Beaumont, and Purdue runs the floor in transition. Day is not a three-point shooter. She's just 0 for 3 from long range this season. And it stays with Purdue on this end, 12 seconds on the shot clock. There's Terry Morin in now her 12th season as Indiana's head coach. Remember, she played at Purdue and never lost to Indiana in her playing career as a Boilermaker, and she has flipped the script, now beating her alma mater. As a head coach of Indiana, the Hoosiers have not lost to Purdue since 2019. Chesky from the free throw line.
And that's that pace. And that's what Shea Chesky can do, is she can really put pressure on you, especially in transition. She had that Purdue defender backpedaling the entire possession.
Like, Day's had some good looks, just hasn't been able to finish near the rim. A great pass from Makaleski that time, and a good job by Jade Ojeneme, beg your pardon, running the floor, but she missed the layup. And that drops in finally for Madison Layden-Zay. And an offensive foul called on.
National level, 10 of her 11 seasons, and Bloomington, 20 or more wins. That's remarkable.
First shot from the floor for Tara Day. She has 4 points, and the lead cut to 1. Tara Day nearly a double-double in Purdue's last game against UCLA. It was a bumpy road trip for the Boilermakers. They lost to USC and UCLA. Neither game was particularly close, and that came after a couple of Big Ten wins strung together. So Purdue trying to get back to form here inside Mackey Arena, but they'll have a hard time keeping Shea Chesky under wraps.
She's crafty. And when you are a smaller guard like Shea, you have to be really good with your feet, playing off 2 feet and having counter moves.
Lene Beaumont asking for the Ojeneme screen. Wraparound pass.
With that move as well. She's just a really smart, high IQ, smaller guard. I know she's getting some looks from some WNBA scouts. It'll be interesting to see where she's projected at the next level.
5'7" from Buffalo, New York, speaking of snowy climates. In the lane, this is Noyan, and it's blocked out of bounds. Tara Day with the help defense. 6 on the shot clock here. Later stages of the first quarter. And a crafty inbounds pass from Journey Kiaku. The deep 3 by Beaumont is airballed, and it's Purdue ball.
Well, that was just so well defended by Purdue. Indiana was looking for Shea Chesky running off of some cross screens. They guarded that. They took away the second option, which was Beaumont. They really were left with no other choice than to just kind of try to make something out of nothing.
Freshman Ela Karsh, number 8, at the point now for Purdue as Katie Geralds rotates in her bench. Karsh is from Israel, and she traveled. Indiana ball. Katie Geralds went into the transfer portal in the offseason, wanted shot makers and scorers, wanted to get a little bit longer, a little bit more athletic, and this is a team that has improved as the season has gone on, has come together, and with some winnable games on their Big Ten schedule, Chance to get back into the middle of the pack here in the Big Ten. There's a Purdue foul there. And it's on Tara Day. That's Purdue's first team foul of the contest.
You talk about improvement and players and being intentional about getting players who want to get better. I look at Lana McCarthy, who just checked in a little bit ago for Purdue. She's one of those members of that super sophomore class that I love to talk about in this conference. Worked out all summer with Katie Geralds, who's not a post player by any means. So that's pretty special when your head coach is working out with you as a post player in the gym all summer. It's a great story.
What else do you like about that super sophomore class?
Just how deep it is and just what that means for the future of this league. We've got some great veterans, some great seniors in the Big Ten, but this league is set up for future success.
Well, a successful jump shot there from Kiki Smith, the junior from Topeka, Kansas.
Kiki Smith is a player who started out this season as a starter. Now she's got a role coming off the bench. I think she's really settled into that role, really values that role. Takes a lot of pressure off of her.
That's the second offensive foul on Indiana. Bad screen by Noyon.
75% of Kiki Smith's field goal attempts are either at the rim or three. She's kind of all or nothing is what I like to say. And here, that screen, that's definitely an illegal screen. They're really being intentional about that. You've got to hold your space. You can't lean into that.
Three ball, Nia Smith. A little bit off the mark. And Kiaku tried to pull in the rebound in a hard collision with McCarthy of Purdue. Oh, and Kiaku clearly in some discomfort. Athletic trainer Ben Tate out to have a look.
And this is an Indiana team, Chris, who already came into this game shorthanded. And so that's a player.
Rebound, Noyon. You don't want to give Chesky another look. And she turns it over, intercepted by Madison Layden-Zay. Up the floor to Smith. McCarthy with a great post on Chesky, and somehow that one changes its mind.
Well, that is a missed opportunity for Purdue and McCarthy in transition. There was a definite cross match. She had a mouse in the house. She's got to capitalize on that.
Good English by Lene Beaumont. She has 6 in the quarter.
Terry Morin told us that Indiana was going to be more intentional about playing at a faster pace, and that's exactly what we're seeing in this first quarter.
There's about a half-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Parsh tried to thread the needle there, and McCarthy draws the foul against Indiana. It's on Nevaeh Caffey. That's her second.
I like the ball screen action, the two-player game between Karsh and McCarthy, and then Caffey came over to help side to make a play. She was late getting there and created that foul.
Layden-Zay, air ball. And that'll do it on win over Oregon, which you called one of the most exciting games in the Big Ten this season. And that was a 3-ball from Ela Karsh of Purdue. Something Purdue did not have much of in the first quarter, just 1 for 5 from deep. That was Purdue's second triple of the day.
Well, these teams are just warming up, Chris, because they were a combined 2 of 9 from behind the arc in the first quarter, and these are 2 of the most proficient three-point shooting teams in the Big Ten.
5 to shoot for Beaumont, double teamed on the baseline, and it stays with Indiana, but just 3 on the shot clock. This gets to your point about how both teams like to shoot the rock from long range.
Both teams have gone more to a 4-around 1 offense, and that's not new for Indiana. They've done that since Mackenzie Holmes was there, surrounded her with 4 3-point shooting guards. As we see an offensive foul right there. Great job by Kiki Smith of drawing that. But this is a relatively new style of play for Purdue.
This is the 3rd offensive foul called on Indiana today. And the 2nd on Odessa Noyan.
It's just a great awareness by Kiki Smith. She's outside, she's given up a few inches, so the best thing she can do is just wall up and just take one right through the chest.
Purdue has not led in the game today. Nia Smith, nifty spin move, too strong style of coaching. Is much more along the lines of calling set plays every time, and this has been a bit of an adjustment for her to just maybe take a step back in a sense.
And that means you have to trust your players.
Yes.
And as a former coach, sometimes that is hard to do, Chris. It's hard to give up that control, and you want to stand there and run every play. And Katie's coach, Sharon Versip, she was notorious for just running a lot of sets. I'm sure that's where Katie got it from.
Chesky turns it over. Madison Layden-Zay with her 2nd steal of the day. Smith up top. 4-3.
I feel as if Purdue is at their best when they're getting stops, and then they can use that for some momentum on the offensive end. Madison Layden-Zay, she leads Purdue in steals because of her length, and that's just a great 3-pointer in rhythm, uncontested.
8 straight for Purdue. Indiana almost turns it over.
Madison Layden-Zay leads this team in stops, which is a combination of blocks and steals. And this is a great job to score in transition before Indiana can match up and just really get their defense in alignment. That's the way Katie Gerald wants to play. She knows that they need to play a little bit faster and try and score in transition before the defense can get set.
They need, Purdue does, their defense to set up their offense. A lot of transition buckets for Purdue this season. Beaumont, pretty mid-range J.
And she's been incredibly impressive today. I think what I'm more impressed with, not her scoring, not the 8 points, but the poise. She doesn't look sped up or pressed at all.
Only 2 players have scored for Indiana in this game. Lene Beaumont and Shea Chesky. That's not a huge surprise. And speaking of mid-range jumpers, that's Kendall Purrier.
Well, Purrier is a little different post player than McCarthy and Avery Gordon, who will come off the bench for Purdue as well. She's more mobile, agile.
Another steal, this time Tara Day. These are the transition looks that Purdue wants. Kiki Smith, bucket and a foul.
Again, another example of Purdue getting stops and then turning that into some offensive momentum. I kind of was joking with Katie Gerald's earlier, Chris, because she was such a prolific scorer herself, and I know that she likes to shoot that thing and put the ball in the bucket, but I said, hey, are you ready to concede and come over to the dark side and admit that your teams play better when they play better defensively on the defensive end?
In describing her style as a player, she said, I'd let you score 20 because I was just going to score 22.
Well, she doesn't have those type of players on her team right now, so she knows they have to get stops in order to win games.
More defense by Day of Purdue as she dislodges the ball from Nevaeh Caffey on the way up. Caffey really just lost it.
Well, it's a little intimidating when you've got all those arms and limbs flying at you. And remember, Caffey is a freshman point guard.
Purrier in the post. Karsha paint touch. Out to Nia Smith. Another 3 for Smith. She has 10.
That's that dribble drive offense that we're going to keep talking about, because this is so different than how Purdue has played the last few years.
That 16-2 score
wants her teams taking this season.
And just 2 points in the quarter for Indiana. Chesky with a step around, too strong. Smith. Kiki Smith for Nia Smith. Oh, Nia Smith, red hot. She has 11 points in the quarter. Again, such a stark turnaround for Purdue. Starting 0 of 8 and now shooting the lights out. In particular, Nia Smith, 3 of 4 from long range. She picks up Shea Chesky here on defense. Now Caffey with a good first step, but too strong on the layup, but a foul called to bail out Indiana.
If they called this on Puryear, that's a late call. I thought she actually did a really good job of walling up and contesting that.
They did call it on Puryear. It's her first.
And she comes over and helps side, and she's there maybe right there at the end, creates a contact with her body, kind of moves into the offensive player. So on second thought, official, I apologize. It's a good call.
Tape don't lie.
Tape don't lie.
Caffey with a couple of free throws, 78% on the season, and just the 3rd and 4th points of the quarter for Indiana. Now an offensive foul called, this time against Purdue. We've seen plenty of those go against Indiana. Now the script is flipped. Madison Layden-Zay checks back into the game. Ela Karsh to the bench for Purdue. Layden-Zay, the program's all-time leader in three-point field goals. She is 0 for 3 today, however. Nia Smith has had the hot hand for the Boilermakers. Caffey. Chesky with a step back. And an eerily similar play to what we saw in the first quarter with Lana McCarthy getting tied up in a battle for a rebound. This time it's Caffey who hits the deck.
Now, what's interesting to me, Chris, is this play looked more excessive to me than the one that they went to the monitor review. You saw a little bit extra. I thought that was a little excessive, maybe even a little unnecessary right there towards the end of that tie-up by McCarthy.
But a jump ball is called. Indiana with possession. What great defense by Tara Day. She gets it back from Kiki Smith. Offensive foul. Three ball just a little bit off from Noyan, but the offensive rebound for Caffey. Beaumont with some wiggle to get to the baseline, and a blocking foul is called on McCarthy of Purdue.
Well, it all starts with the offensive rebounding that Indiana's getting right now. And this is a great job of attacking a bigger player. McCarthy felt like she went out of bounds first, but I would like to see Indiana be intentional about getting Maya Makaleski going in the next few possessions.
Keep an eye on that. Beaumont at the free throw line for Indiana. And she goes 1 for 2 at the line. Indiana has made just 1 field goal in the quarter. 5 points, 3 at the free throw line. Puryear in the post, guarded by Noyan. Nia Smith has her pocket picked, but a foul is called. Journey Kiaku, who remember got injured in a hard fall in the first quarter.
To go and try and make a play. But this is a shorthanded Indiana team. You don't want to pick up cheap fouls.
Oh, and Kiki Smith dribbled it off her foot. Kiaku gets a steal eventually, misses the layup. Rebound Nia Smith. McKenna laid it on the floor for Purdue, number 11. She tees up Nia Smith, a little bit short from distance that time. And it's turning into a foul fest in the second quarter, both teams in the bonus.
It took two Hoosiers.
The length of the floor, now they back off a little bit. Great pass from Maya Makaleski off to Jade Onjeneme, but everything but the finish for the Hoosiers. No-look pass from sister to sister, and it's McKenna Layden who tickles the twine from deep.
Indiana just keeps getting sucked in by the dribble penetration of Purdue. I don't know if this bodes well for them to try and play a zone.
Well, you wanted more looks for Makaleski, am I right?
Yes, I did. Ask and you shall receive.
Free ball for Makaleski, who shoots 36% from deep. Indiana led 15-11 after the first quarter. Baseline J. Avery Gordon.
And so this was one of those Katie Gerald specials. That was a well-designed set to try and get Avery Gordon isolated on the low block with no help side. That was a nice overload.
6'7" freshman from Brownsburg, Indiana. Short for Beaumont, rebound tipped, and Onjeneme comes up with it. Shea Chesky has had a quiet second quarter after 9 points in the first, none in the second. Off, nope, yes, offensive. I was looking at the wrong official. That call has been consistent all game long.
So what's
Gordon, turnaround, and the jumper looking good.
This is two straight possessions that Katie Gerald has actually run a set and run it for Avery Gordon. And I like that. Avery Gordon doesn't play a lot of minutes, but she's very efficient with the minutes that she does have. They run through her and then they get her out.
Chesky off the schneid in the second quarter. She has 11. So the 13 points for Avery Gordon, though, against UCLA, a career high for her, and averages less than 9 minutes a game.
Well, she held her own with the Lauren Betts challenge. A nice 13 points in a very efficient 17 minutes.
Right on cue, she's got 6 points in about 3 trips down the floor for Purdue.
And if I had to describe Avery Gordon in one word, it would be efficient. She limits her dribbles. She does an excellent job of establishing deep position before the catch.
Final minute of the second. Chesky throws it to Kiaku. Kiaku hangs and hits. Shot clock is off. Purdue has scored 30 points in the second quarter. How about a few more? No. Chesky shuts down Smith, and a foul was called on Nia Smith, and that's not a huge play shimmy, but it's going to give Indiana a chance at some 3 points here.
And it's going to give Indiana a chance to score before this half, and which is then going to give Indiana a little bit of momentum, because there's a big difference between 27 points or 29 points. And so that's exactly what you don't want. Katie Gerald is frustrated with her player right there, and I don't blame her, Chris.
Just one of those subtle momentum swings. Shea Chesky, an excellent, and we mean excellent, free throw shooter, over 91% on the season, and there's been no shortage of chances for her. So about as automatic as it gets. Tempting fate here, I know that, but she hits them both, and there you go. A 2-point swing for Indiana going into the locker room at halftime.
What makes Indiana dangerous, though, Chris, and why no lead is safe is because even though you would know it by the first half, Indiana is a really good three-point shooting team. And when you shoot the three as well as they do, no lead is safe.
That's an offensive foul. for Shea Chesky at the free throw line. She was 74 for 81 before that miss. Let's take one final look at the play.
So this right here, right when she detaches her arm, her inside arm, and goes to swing to create that space, that's not a basketball move. That's not a natural basketball play. And you can say, well, I didn't intend to hit her. Well, no one knows what your intent is. And so intention is just completely thrown out. You just have to look, just the facts, just the facts. Isn't that like a line from a...
Yeah, I was trying to think, yeah, where's that from? Just the facts. But your point taken. And you're absolutely spot on. So Indiana with the ball as well, following the flagrant foul, but that is a squandered opportunity with an offensive foul called against the Hoosiers.
Yeah, an illegal screen, and that's the second one we've seen from Indiana this afternoon.
Foul is on Shea Chesky, and that's actually her third. So 2 Hoosiers now, Chesky and Noyon playing with 3 personals. McKenna Layden with it to her sister. Layden Zay for 3, short. Long rebound, and Layden Zay recovers using her length again.
I don't know how she got that.
Now she enters the paint, left-hand finger roll too strong. Puryear involved in the battle for the rebound, and a jump ball is called.
This acronym I use, it's NBA. It's your next best action. So you miss a shot, you miss a 3. Well, what's the next best action? You follow your shot and you make a play. You get your own rebound. That's exactly what Layden Zay did. I have a lot of acronyms, Chris.
That's a good one. Next best action. I'm going to use that. Caffey, and that's a foul called on Puryear inside.
Game is really slowing down now with all the fouling. It's hard for either team to get in the flow.
Okay, I'm sorry, no foul, just a kick ball. Now Chesky for 3 for Indiana, splash.
Obviously, Shea Chesky was a bright spot for the Hoosiers in the first half. Her and Lene Beaumont.
17 for Chesky, and McKenna Layden rattles one down.
So if you look at the scouting report on McKenna Layden, her three-point rate is 100%. And what I mean by that is 100% of the shots that she has attempted are all behind the arc. So you have to know that. That is the one thing that's on your scouting report. And there's no way that she should ever become detached from you as a defender.
She's literally never taken a 2 this season. Her field goal percentage is the same as her 3-point percentage, and Shea Chesky is heating up. She's got 20. Shea Chesky will shoot from inside the arc, but she still has a pretty high 3-point percentage too.
Well, remember when we started this second half by talking about no lead is safe when you shoot the ball as proficiently as Indiana does from behind the arc.
Tough shot for Tara Day. She has 6. Lead back to 10 for Purdue. Beaumont off the screen by Caffey, hits the layup.
So now Indiana has come down. They hit back-to-back threes, and so what it did is that loosened up the defense, and now it's creating driving opportunities.
Tara Day, it falls off the front iron, and then a foul on the floor in the battle for the rebound, and that is on Shimmy, Indiana's Odessa Noyon, and that is her 4th.
Indiana already came into this game short-handed, and the interior, Zania Sakaguman is out with the lower leg injury. So now her backup is starting, and now we have the backup to the backup in right now.
Jumper good, and Purdue builds back a 10-point lead again.
That's smart play calling by Katie Geralds to go ahead and take advantage of the backup post player who doesn't get a lot of minutes.
And then Chesky is fouled. Foul is on Nia Smith of Purdue.
At the line, Indiana shooting free, number 10, Shea Chesky.
Chesky books the first free throw. Well, coming up, the women's hoops triple header rolls on as the 7th-ranked Wolverines host the Trojans. That's next on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Great day of women's hoops. Your Wolverines are having a special season. Kim Barnes-Enrico with a milestone coaching win the other day.
She is officially the GOAT. No one in women's or men's or women's Michigan basketball history has more wins than KBA.
Incredible. McCarthy in the lane. Great footwork.
Excellent job of just holding her ground and just spinning right through the defense.
Oh, Indiana hanging around. Beaumont with the jump stop, too strong underneath. And Indiana hangs on. Good effort on the baseline by Jade Onjeneme. Both teams shooting the ball well, especially in this quarter. For the game, both teams are at 50% as Indiana gets situated for its inbound.
Right now, Indiana is outscoring Purdue in this third quarter.
Chesky has it stripped. Madison Layden-Zay has not hit many jumpers in this game, but her defense has been on point. Day on a drive.
Oh, that was such an excellent offensive possession by Purdue, Chris. Just a great job of attacking late closeouts until you were able to find a seam and get to the rim. Really good patience and selflessness.
That's a foul on Chesky. Massive foul on Shea Chesky. She has 4, and we're not even halfway through the third yet. Chesky's still on the floor, number 10. Beaumont is bumped and fouled.
Shea Chesky plays about 36 minutes a game. She's the leading scorer in the Big Ten, 7th leading scorer in the nation. She's going to come out now for a little bit of a blow, but when you're Indiana, you're playing from behind and you're trying to mount this comeback. Just mark this point in the game right here to see if Purdue can't break this wide open, because that's a tremendous loss for Indiana.
She's got basically half of Indiana's point total in this game. Beaumont off the mark. Onjeneme couldn't keep it alive for Indiana, but Caffey with the steal. And a whistle off ball.
The freshman Caffey came up with that nice defensive play to retain possession for Indiana. Terry Morin is so high on her freshman point guard. Couldn't say enough about her in our meeting with her.
You know, and that will pay dividends in the future. You know, as Caffey continues to grow and the pieces of Indiana are reassembled. With the experience she's logging this year, to be just a sophomore next season, she'll be a much different player as Indiana continues this rebuild.
All the struggles that Indiana is facing right now will pay off in the future.
Even immediately, you might argue, Journey Kiaku with the 3, their best shot when their arch rival is in town.
You've got some players on both of these rosters, even in this era of transfers, and you know, these two teams aren't full of Indiana players, but you still have Indiana players, former Miss Basketball winners on these rosters who've been playing against one another since high school.
Shea Chesky, another 3, 26. and perfect from long range. But it feels like this is the wall Indiana has run into. They have not been quite able to get the deficit down to under 8 or 9 points.
Well, and that's why Terry Morin put Shea Chesky back in the game so quickly with those 4 fouls.
Avery Gordon draws the foul down low.
Shea Chesky didn't spend very much time on the bench at all before Terry Morin put her in. And this is what we talk about of her not being a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter, not being in that box. You don't need to set screens for her. She can create for herself. She's got excellent change of pace, change of speed moves. She does a really good job of creating separation, and at 5'7", she has to. She reminds me a lot of a Kelsey Plum or a Haley Van Lith type of player.
Gordon misses the free throw. Shea Chesky first in the Big Ten at just about 23 points per game. You followed her career from the beginning. When she started her career at Penn State, she showed signs of being able to put the ball in the hoop like this. But last year at Indiana, that wasn't her role. She didn't need to score that much.
Well, she's playing with some really good veterans. Remember, you ask, why is Indiana 0-8 right now? Players along with her.
Still a long road to go in the race to Indy, but she would become the 3rd player in program history to lead the Big Ten in scoring, and she's knocking on the door of 30 this afternoon, 28 points. By the way, you mentioned the great core that she had around her last season. One of those players is in studio today, Sydney Parrish, sitting next to Ashley Adamson, part of our Big Ten Network studio coverage today. There's Avery Gordon who drops it in. Gordon has been great off the bench, as you said she would be, Shimmy. She has 8 points.
Well, she's just
9 points.
Incredibly efficient, Chris. 81% of her offense comes off of post-ups or offensive rebound putbacks. She knows her role. She really bought into it. And she actually is someone that when she's in, they'll just run sets through her.
Less than 10 to shoot. Beaumont, tough shot. Didn't get the shooter's touch. Onjeneme misses the offensive rebound. Tara Day with a quick step baseline. Good ball movement by Purdue. Madison Layden-Zay off the mark. Chesky blocked by Layden-Zay. It stays with Indiana.
Madison Layden-Zay leads this team in stocks. It's a combination of steals and blocks. Great timing. Again, that NBA that we talked about, that next best action on display. You missed the 3, you hustle back, save the play.
Shea Chesky filling it up. 31 for the senior. Karsh for 3. Oh, there's a big answer for Purdue.
Just when Indiana starts to close this gap, Purdue's able to respond. That wasn't happening earlier in the season for Purdue. Purdue would have lost this lead by now. This is part of their growth.
Beaumont off the mark, another offensive rebound on Onjeneme. Beaumont, another try, short. We are into the final minute of the 3rd quarter. Indiana still +2 on Purdue in the quarter, but Boilermakers have not yielded much ground. Day in and out. Purdue has not beaten Indiana in women's basketball since 2019, have not beaten their arch rival this decade, have not claimed the Barn Burner Trophy in 10 years. Onjeneme blocked and fouled.
It's a 10-point game. And for Indiana, especially the way they're shooting the 3, and this quarter, they're already 5 of 6 from behind the arc in this quarter after going 2 of 7 the entire first half. 10 points, that's nothing for Indiana.
Yeah, especially with the way they shoot from deep, they can cover that ground quickly, and especially with the way Shea Chesky is shooting now. Now she wisely will get a breather for the final 19 seconds of the quarter.
And you just look how competitive she is. I mean, she is a warrior
Not sure what she found so weird, if I was reading her lips correctly. But.
She might think it's weird that she hasn't made all of the shots.
That's right, that's right.
Probably finds that weird.
That's exactly right.
What do you mean I've missed some shots?
Well, she hasn't missed many. She's 8 for 12 from the floor, 10 of 11 at the line, and 5 of 5 from long range. Final 10 seconds of the quarter now. Kiki Smith out of control. That's absolutely an offensive foul.
Kiki Smith was all gas. She needed some breaks. She's got to go into a jump stop, go straight up and down. I don't know if she just slipped or tripped, but great job by the freshman to take that charge. So
of course Chesky comes back into the game with an offensive opportunity here for the Hoosiers. 3 seconds to go. Caffey has to get a shot off. It's blocked by Layden Zay. Madison Layden. Purdue with the lead and the basketball. Karsh for 3. On a dime from Layden Zay.
That was a big bucket. Now this extends this into double digits again. A double-digit lead again for Purdue.
Whistle and a foul on the Boilermakers. That 3 by Karsh. She's made all 3 of her triples today.
Well, she's shooting about a 32% from the field. There was a point early in the season where she was actually in that coveted 50-40-90 club, but she's kind of hit a hurdle since Big Ten play has started. So that's got to be good for her confidence to see that go down.
Follows on Purdue's Tara Day. That was her 3rd. And that was an offensive foul. If that was on Shea Chesky, it would be her 5th, but now they're calling it on Adessa Noyan, and it is her 5th. So she has fouled out.
So this is a great time to remind everyone, Indiana came into this game a little short-handed. They found out early this morning that Zania Sakaguman was going to be out with a lower leg injury. Now you have 1 player that's fouled out, 2 more with 4 fouls.
Day off the mark. And Beaumont curls in the lane. Shea Chesky, Big Ten's leading scorer with 31, now 33 this afternoon. Jimmy, if Indiana comes back to win, you know whose name is going on the barn burner trophy next.
Let me take one wild guess. Starts with Shea, ends with Chesky.
That's right. Her fifth 30-point game this season as a Purdue offensive foul is called here.
Shea Chesky is a 3-level scorer, and we've seen all 3 levels on display. Just a really nice controlled drive. She gets to her spot, and she's athletic enough that she can just rise up and float that in. It's very frustrating as a coach when you know that there's 1 player on this team that can beat you, but you still can't stop her.
She has 33 points. The rest of the Hoosiers have 23, and there's an offensive foul on Lene Beaumont.
And this is where Lene Beaumont, where she will evolve as a player, because again, she's trying to create that contact, to create some separation, but instead just get to your spot and just go off of 2 feet, just rise up. And she's long enough that that's just a short little jumper for her, just right off the glass.
I don't track offensive fouls specifically. Layden Zay for 3. But it feels like there have been a lot of offensive fouls in this game. That was our first triple for Madison Layden Zay of the day. Career 3-pointer number 247 as she continues to pad her lead atop the Boilermaker standings. Onjeneme inside draws the foul.
Great cut by Onjeneme. And to Shea Chesky's credit, that's a great job of finding her. She had nowhere to go. This is what Terry Moore wants from her. Moore, use your teammates. It's a great basket cut by Jade.
Layden Zay whistled for the foul. had been 2 for 2 at the free throw line. Now 3 for 4. She was just 1 for 2 on the season coming into today.
Well, she's a player who doesn't play a lot of minutes. The last time she's played this many extended minutes was the last time that Zania Sakaguman was out.
Smith for 3. Rebound Beaumont. Beaumont around Purrier. And the pass blocked by Smith, and Purrier up with it. Purdue in transition, and Nia Smith tripped, no call. Chaycheski the other way. Out of bounds, Purdue ball.
It's an interesting no call. Usually that's something, because there has to be something that creates the contact. And I'm not saying that I necessarily wanted it to be called.
Right.
But what I am saying is that players don't just fall down, and Chaycheski definitely impeded her in the open court there and created that contact.
And as we told you, Chesky sitting on 4 fouls. She would have been done with over 7 minutes to go in the game.
I like that drive by Kiki Smith much better than the one we saw earlier in the game. She's much more in control, going off 2 feet.
The foul was on Indiana's Maya Makaleski. Just her first. Kiki Smith, an 81% free throw shooter. The Big Show delivers highlights, post-game interviews, and complete analysis tonight at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. A triple header of women's hoops to recap when the day is done. Smith goes 1 for 2 at the line for Purdue. Time is now for Indiana to make a surge. A Purdue foul has been called here.
Yeah, you can give Chaycheski the credit for that. I know that Onjeneme is the one who technically drew the foul, but Chaycheski is just so measured and reusing this ball screen. She does a great job of taking her defender to the level of the screen. Look at her right there. And now she's trying to fight over that screen. Nia Smith is trying to fight over that screen and just ran right through Onjeneme. She's crafty.
Crafty. Just a veteran player. Knows space and pace. She's got it now. Chesky, baseline. Layden Zay, the rebound. Tara Day. Karsh on the run. Rebound Onjeneme. And Kyaku is fouled. No, she traveled. An Indiana turnover.
Yeah, Indiana jammed up. The defensive rebounder there kind of baited her into this travel. You see there's a Purdue defender right there on the catch, which created that travel.
Great play by Tara Day. And won't get credit for a steal there, but effectively does. Layden Zay finishing strong. She has 9 points. Over 1,200 points in her Purdue career. Similar career numbers to her head coach, Katie Gerald's, both in terms of career points and career threes. Caffey is fouled. She has 2 free throws coming her way.
The more I watch this young freshman in Caffey, the more I understand why Terry Morin is so high on her. As a freshman point guard, she already has a lot of responsibility, and she's often tasked with defending the other team's best or most dynamic offensive player. But she has a high motor. She's fearless. She's aggressive.
All 4 of her points have come at the foul line today. 2 rebounds and 4 assists for the first-year point guard. Indiana's gotten to the free throw line more than Purdue today. Hoosiers have stayed in the game in part because of their high percentage at the free throw line. Karsh, another 3, her 4th of the game.
She just looks extremely confident today, much more confident than what I've seen from her in the past.
Hila Karsh, remember she got accidentally hit in the face, the eye before. Still shooting the lights out. And Caffey loses it out of bounds. Purdue ball.
There's some miscommunication by Indiana. Caffey was driving baseline and wanted to make that drift pass, but there was no one in the corner for her to pass it to. And that's what she's telling her teammates right now. You've got to get flat. You've got to get to the corner when I drive baseline.
Purdue has already reached its season average for points per game, 70.2. Karsh off the rim, Kyaku the rebound. Kyaku on Layden Zay draws the foul.
And that's who Kyaku is. She's just really, she didn't win it because of her defense. But if her team is able to hold on and win it today, it's going to be because of their defense today, Chris. I think their defense has been outstanding this afternoon.
Holding Indiana 10 points below their season average so far with 4.5 minutes to go. Karsh with 4 threes, guarded by Chesky. Out today. Kyaku, another rebound for Indiana.
Not a bad possession for Purdue at all.
Athletic catch by Caffey. She is fouled by Purdue's Madison Layden Zay.
That last possession wasn't bad for Purdue because they used the entire clock, which is what they want right now. But on the other end, Madison Layden Zay was there. She was protecting the basket in transition defense. She just broke the plane instead of going straight up and down.
Caffey has been good at the free throw line, 5 for 5 for the Hoosiers. The foul on Layden Zay was her 3rd. All 6 of Caffey's points at the stripe. Layden Zay slips through traffic. Purrier the offensive rebound. And Caffey tries to rip it away from Day. A jump ball is called. Possession arrow, Indiana.
And so on that last offensive rebound by Kendall, if you don't have a putback, then just go ahead and kick that back out. There's no need to try to force anything right now if you're Purdue.
Less than 10 to shoot. Kyaku with a finger roll. Not enough touch, but it stays with Indiana. And they'll get 20 seconds on the shot clock.
So right now, if you're Purdue, you want to guard without fouling and value the ball. No unforced turnovers. Don't try and force anything.
Onjeneme to the rack. Offensive foul. And Onjeneme is done. Her 5th foul, the 2nd Hoosier to foul out of this game, joining Odessa Noyan on the bench.
And so what they're looking at, it was the defender set before Onjeneme took off. And it's really, really close. And so in that case, you're always going to give the benefit of the doubt to the defender. It's very close. That's a tough way for her to foul out. But I will say this, is I think she's been very admirable.
I agree.
In her role, coming in, playing as many minutes as she has. Great hustle plays, great energy and activity.
Got to the free throw line, 5 rebounds as her afternoon is done. Purdue does not like running in their offense in the half court too much, but they'll happily do that here, trying to bleed some clock. Kiki Smith for 3. Rebound tipped by McCarthy to Chesky of Indiana. This is Caffey, crossover on Layden Zay, and the foul is called on Layden Zay, which would be her 4th.
And that's where Caffey is at her best. She's a low volume, high reward three-point shooter, but where she's at her best is in the open court, in transition, where she can get in space and where she can drive. She is a driver first and foremost.
Listed at 5'10", but good length. That was her first miss from the free throw line today, doing a little of this and a little of that. Indiana still down double digits. The Hoosiers led after the first quarter, but a 30-point second quarter for Purdue really tilted the tide. And even though Indiana outscored Purdue in the third quarter, it was not by enough to get back in this game.
Maya Mikuleski kind of got caught down there defending McCarthy. She really wanted no part of that. So she stopped that before he got started. I don't blame her.
Second foul on Mikuleski. Gordon, I beg your pardon, McCarthy misses the free throw.
You see right here, she just said, you know what, I'm not going to play this game with you and have you posterize me, so I'm just going to pull you down and let you shoot a couple free throws.
Got a foul to give, and McCarthy just went 1 for 2, so it seems like a smart move. As McCarthy sits and McKenna Layden checks into the game. McKenna Layden with 8 points. Chesky still scoring 35.
So the substitution that Purdue made was to match up better with the players that Indiana has right now. Indiana basically has no post players. They have 5 guards on the floor right now.
We'll keep it here as Purdue calls a timeout, up 10, less than 2 minutes to go. Indiana down 10, but it has been a showcase afternoon for senior guard Shea Chesky.
One of the most dynamic scorers, not just in the Big Ten, but the entire country. And we talk about players all the time being 3-level scorers, but we don't really mean it. But with Shea Chesky, I mean it. And you can see it all right here in this package. You've seen her shoot the mid-range. She can shoot the 3 off of the screen or create her own. And she can get to the rim and get into the paint. She's got a nice floater game. She finishes at a very high percentage at the rim, which is incredible for someone 5'7" who's playing amongst the trees. Very impressive. The more you watch her, the more impressed you are. I know she still has a lot of college season left to play, but I'll be very curious to see where she ends up this summer.
Well, I'm excited to see how she ends up her Indiana career, if you will, the rest of the winter. 5 30-point games this season for Chesky. 2 years at Penn State and now 2 years at Indiana. McCarthy down low. Offensive foul. And McCarthy has just fouled out of the game.
I love the quick, aggressive, decisive move by McCarthy, and I just feel like she's being penalized right now for being stronger than the defender that's on her. She just moved her out of the way, but there was nothing illegal or excessive, unnecessary, wrong about that. If I'm her post coach right now, what I'm doing is I'm encouraging her and I'm saying, hey, I'm sorry that call was made, but that was a great move, and you keep making moves like that.
Don't lose sleep over that.
Right, right.
Chesky in her bag, 37. It appears to be too little, too late, unless Indiana can force some takeaways.
Don't tell that to Brenda Fries, because she's come back late from a few of these types of deficits twice this season.
Day, airmail, and it stays with Purdue as Beaumont had her foot out of bounds. Minute 6 to go, and Chesky closing in on the Mackey Arena women's record. You mentioned Brenda Fries, one of her players currently holds the Mackey Arena women's record, 41. Set back on February 2nd, 2016.
Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, who now plays in the WNBA. Maybe these two will be playing against one another this summer. Maybe.
Apt comparison.
And you see her leadership.
Yep.
Bringing the team in, tight huddles. And when I talked to Coach Moore about this season and the lows that they've experienced, she pointed to the leadership of Shea Chesky, and she just also said we have really strong culture and we try to control the controllables, and the only thing we really can control in basketball is our effort. And she felt like for the most part this season, with the exception of maybe the Washington game, that's what her Hoosiers have done, but she just really gives so much credit to the leadership of Shea Chesky and Renee Beaumont.
Layden-Zay 1 for 2 at the line. It's Indiana ball. Final minute. Beaumont is blocked. Kiaku tries to scoop it up. A foul is called. Foul is on Purdue's Kiki Smith. Watch here, number 23.
These teams are being physical and aggressive to the very end, Chris.
Beaumont got smushed. And of course, they'll be down in Assembly Hall later this regular season. Not playing for the Barn Burner Trophy. That's only done once a season.
Maybe not a trophy is going to be involved, but a whole lot of state pride.
They don't need a trophy, quite frankly, to up the ante in this rivalry. Beaumont with 13, Indiana's second leading scorer today after Shea Chesky. It's in that state. How much snow have they gotten in Flint?
You know, I don't know. I don't know, Chris. She got a taste of it when she went into corporate world. She dipped her toe into corporate, and it's just not the same.
And she picks up the rebound there, and it looks like Indiana is still going to play this. They're not fouling. Down low for Day, and on the back cut, Kiki Smith lays it in, and that should put this one out of reach.
It's a really complete game by Purdue. They started a little slow and then just really locked in on the defensive end, created a lot of points off their turnovers, 27 of them. And that was one of the keys for me. It really stands out to me when Purdue is at their best. It's because they're playing really good, solid defense, and that's what we saw tonight.
We told you at the start of the day, Purdue's road trip to Los Angeles did not go according to